like to make a toast, okay, to commence. You all got your glasses charged, all right? Don't start yet. I want to make a toast to lying, stealing, cheating, and drinking. Haven't finished yet, okay? If you're going to lie, lie for a friend, especially if you're going to keep that friend out of trouble. If you're going to steal, steal a heart. If you're going to cheat, cheat death. And if you're going to drink, I'd like you to now raise your glasses to a man who's a true gentleman, Jim Slade and Baby Boomers Rock, Adelaide. Good work, Jim.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the help you've given us too, mate. We've got people here tonight that started coming in from the beginning, but it's gradually been building. Until tonight, I think it's the biggest night we've ever had.
Fantastic. Can I just see the person who listens to me? Would you put up your hand, please? Oh, there you are. Thank you very much. You don't even know who I am, do you? I get that a lot.
Andrew actually is top rated on the weekends on 5AA, and that is a really something that he's created himself. He's drawn the. What did you do in radio? You've got to build your audience.
The ratings took a hit last time. Not number one anymore.
Almost number one.
Almost number one.
Well, you get rid of whoever it is. Okay, but anyway, by the way, we're going to have a chat with Andrew. Take a seat, mate. We're going to have a chat and just find out a few things about Andrew Reimer. It took a fair bit of research, but I want to know a few things about the man, particularly in his formative years. What was school like when you were going to school, Andrew? Where was it?
I don't remember a lot of school years, because it was quite a long time ago. Just to let you know, but this is Baby Boomers Rock, Adelaide. I am the last of the Baby Boomers. I was born in 1964. I know I don't look a lot older. Yeah. It's not the years, it's the mileage.
Oh, mate. What did you like best at school?
Recess, lunchtime, and going home.
Now, in those days, and I'm reflecting back on when I was growing up, did you listen to the radio?
I listened to the radio all the time. I loved listening to, back in the day, it was 5AA's,
Yeah.
5KA, and, well, 5PM came later for me, Jim, I hate to say.
Yeah, well, we sort of gave away 5DM in about 1970 odd. But great station, but you know, those things, everything changes.
It does. I actually had the pleasure of working for 5PM back in the mid-90s, actually, and I stayed there till about 2000. I was doing a couple of music shows, doing a nostalgia show on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, Saturday afternoons and Sunday nights, I mean. Then Hinch came along to Adelaide, and I got to work with Hinch for a year, helping him. Then Hinch was asked to basically leave Adelaide, and so there was nothing there for me, and the boss came up to me and said, okay, mate, we're going to start Midnight to Dawn Talkback again. It's on either that, or we've got nothing for you. And I'd never done Talkback before at that stage, other than working with Hinch, and thankfully I've got to say I learned so much from Darren that I was able to start doing overnight talkback, and I did that for a couple of years at DM before going over to AA around about 2000.
But we can go back, we can take a step back even further, because you started at with the 3MA.
Yeah, 3MA in Mildura in 1988. Just to let you know too, I don't know if you've ever, most of you would be on Facebook, I reckon, and no, you're not on Facebook, but quite often there's a post on Facebook and it talks about the people's perception of success, and people imagine success start here and it's a straight line to where you're going, and that's success. You all seen that, or you know of that sort of theory, I guess. And then it shows in the next picture the reality, and the reality is no straight line, but a line that goes like that, then down here, and then it goes up and down, and I imagine most of you would have experienced that same sort of thing going throughout your lives, the ups and downs of getting to where it is you're going.
But in your case, after 3MA, within 3 years, you made it to be the top radio announcer for regional Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's not bad in 3 years. It's from the time you go on air at 3AA's, that is just amazing.
Yeah, but along in that 3 years, there was a lot of that. I can tell you that now.
Well, yes, of course, it happens all the time, but that's a fabulous achievement. It really is. When I read that, I thought, God, that's amazing. You're getting your grounding and a lot of people did get their grounding in regional stations, but to be awarded the top country radio announcer in Australia, that's bloody good. That's good stuff. Did you always want to be in radio? Well, I'm talking when you were a kid.
No, I had no idea what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do, and I did a lot of different things over the years, and I pretty much stumbled across radio. I had a mate of mine at the time, a guy called Peter Frank, who had started up down at 5AA's down in Mount Gambier, went over to Melbourne, was doing a lot in Melbourne, and he came back to Adelaide. He's got a production company now, but he was a good mate of mine, and he was getting all the girls. So he still got all the girls. Radio made no difference to me at all.
As we take a walk through Andrew's life, you'll notice that on the flyer I said that he's lived the life of 3 or 4 people all rolled into one. And as we talk and go through Andrew's life, you'll see exactly what I mean. This gentleman has done an amazing number of things, and things that you will be amazed at. Well, I was, so I guess if I was, you will be too. Tell me about the Australian Defence Medal Award.
Do you want the true story or the embellished version?
Oh, what the hell, the embellished version?
Okay, well, there was the Queen, okay, she was in danger, about that. Seriously, it's in Defence circles, I'm not sure how many Defence Force members we have here tonight, or former Defence Force members. It's basically known as the thanks for showing up medal. Everybody gets it who stayed in for 5 years. That's basically, there's nothing really heroic about it at all. I'm sorry, Jim. It sounds good. It sounds good, the Australian Defence Medal, but it was proud, like I've been proud to serve my country, that's for sure.
If you hadn't gone into radio, what would you have done?
I really can't answer that question. I can't imagine myself not being in radio. And if I wasn't in commercial radio, I'd probably be doing something in community radio, I'd say.
But you also do a lot of volunteering work too.
Yeah, as well as volunteering work, I also, my Monday to Friday job, I work on AA Saturday and Sunday nights, so I do fill-in shifts during the week and all that sort of business. But my regular shift is Saturday and Sunday nights. My Monday to Friday job is working for a company called Multiple Solutions, and we're part of the MS Society, South Australia Northern Territory, and my job, I do business development, helping people with disabilities find work. So that's what I do Monday to Friday. And then I'm also involved, I'm ambassador for the Titri Gully Business Enterprise Centre. That's a voluntarily position. And I'm on the board of the North East Development Agency and also the Lions Club of Charles Sturt, which I'm also a member.
I just want to share this with you. I came across in the background on Andrew his skills. Now, you speak German?
Ein bisschen, a little bit.
His skills, just listen to this. This is one person: radio broadcasting, social media, event management, broadcast, radio producing, social media marketing, public relations, interviews, management. Andrew also knows about copywriting, media relations, presenter, voiceover, radio marketing communicators, journalism, entertainment, press releases, radio host, I mean, how much? That's why I said this gentleman has lived the life of 3 or 4 people. That's amazing. How did you cram it all in?
I think, yeah, you're talking about a lot of people, radio announcers back in the day. I started radio in '88 up at 3A in Jura, and it was back in the day where you had to be a jack of all trades.
Yes.
And that's pretty much covers a lot of what you're talking about there. You had to be hands-on in every single aspect of broadcasting. And that's the reason why. And sadly, today, a lot of guys don't have the opportunities that I had and many other announcers had. I was actually the last Midnight to Dawn announcer they had up at 3MA. They got rid of the mid-dawns and they started getting rid of bringing in the
national.
Yeah. Networking.
Yeah.
And so then I went from nights to afternoons to breakfast, and the skills I learned, it was that a crossover from the old where we were still playing the morning serials. You remember the old morning serials that you heard on radio many, many years ago? Still hear them on community radio sometimes. We were still playing that, and then there was the advent of the CD, and then the digital. I still used to play those old serials off of acetate records. That was back in '88. So that was sort of a really exciting time to be in broadcasting, experience what you would have taken for granted throughout your career.
True. You tell me about voice acting. I was just quite intrigued when I read that.
So was I. What is it?
Was it your CV?
Yeah, I don't know where that one came from. I don't know anything.
It's just 2007, the RAAF Security Police and Fire School in Adelaide, Queensland. This is what Andrew was part of. The training included special investigation and counterintelligence. Now that does mean
the real interest, the embellished or real? Embellished or real? Basically, what happened was I was doing talk back at AA in 2001. It was the Gulf War, and I was a talkback announcer. We were talking about our troops going overseas and going to war against Saddam Hussein and all that sort of business. And I was about 36, 37. And there I was, a talkback announcer who'd never been in the armed forces, talking about how our troops should be going overseas to fight in this particular war. And then I stopped and had a little bit of a think, and I thought, you're such a wanker. You're talking about troops, Australian troops going over there, risking their lives, and you've never actually stepped up to the mark and been prepared to do something like that yourself. So I had, coming from a migrant background as well, I had one regret in my life, and that I'd never served my country in some form or another. And so it was around about the age of 38, I eventually joined up as a choco, a reservist, and got to do some training. I joined the security police mustering, did my training up at Amberley, had to put my radio career on hold in order to pursue all this, and did a few other things along the way. But I thought it was very important to do that. At security police, look, I never went on deployment, but I am proud to say that I did my bit as far as a Defence Force member is concerned here in Australia, in various places. Spent some time up in Darwin, up at Amberley, and of course Edinburgh here in South Australia.
I don't think many people would think the way you were thinking. I admire that, because to think I haven't been in the armed services and that, but I should do something about it, and not only think about it, you actually go and do something about it. I think that's the big difference. That's really.
Thanks. I guess when you're on the air, I like to keep it as real as possible, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. If I say something, I believe it. It's not because I'm just saying it to be sensational, it's because I actually believe in what I'm talking about, right or wrong.
Now, talk back with DMG, how did that actually come about?
Back in about 2000, I'd had a gutful. I was only meant to be doing a short time of talk back at DN, because of working midnight to dawns. It certainly does take its toll on a lot of things, as far as your personal life, etc. is concerned, and your body. And then at 2000, I'd had enough, so I quit. I was just going to take some time to spend with the family, paint the house, do that sort of thing. But within a week of quitting, I got a phone call from Paul Bartlett, who was the program director at 5AA at the time, and he said, mate, can you just help us out? I said no. Came back the third time, and he said, look, just for a couple of weeks. And so I said, yeah, okay. So I ended up staying for a couple of years, and then I wanted to pursue other things. And then I did pursue other things, including the Defence Force, etc. And then back 2010, I missed radio a heck of a lot. It was a part of me that was really missing, and so they took me back on, just doing a couple of shifts a week, midnight to dawns again. Then Bob Francis, producer, he quit. So, yeah, you know Bob well.
Yes.
And then, so I worked with Bob as this producer and filling in for him for 3 years. And then Paul Macon took over. I got an opportunity to do something different, try and make a difference, I guess, for people in their lives with disabilities. So I did that Monday to Friday, then I got offered Saturday and Sunday nights on a full-time basis, a permanent basis. So it was my show. and the opportunity to fill in for other people. So that's pretty much what I've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years.
Lachlan Barr from Multiple Solutions speaks very highly of you. You mentioned, you touched on it a little while ago. Tell us more about Multiple Solutions.
Yeah, well, Lachlan Barr, he's the General Manager of Multiple Solutions. Basically, yeah, no, that's okay. We're a disability employment service provider, and it's pretty much helping people with disabilities out there get back in the workforce and make a positive contribution to their lives, other people's lives as well, make them feel as much a part of our society as they have every right to.
You're also ambassador to the Tea Tree Gully Business Enterprises Centre too. What's that all about?
One of my big passions is helping small business. I love employment, finding people employment, but I also love helping small business and helping small business succeed, because we all know it's the lifeblood of our economy. Small business is very important to us, and we rely on it so much. And if your small businesses is thriving, it means employment thriving, it means the economy is thriving, and that means South Australia is going in the direction. Yes.
Okay, off the subject for a minute. What's your favourite food and what's your least favourite?
I used to love and be able to eat everything. Pizza used to be my favourite, especially when I was a bachelor, a young bachelor up at 5AA's. You'd order a pizza, 10 o'clock at night,
yes,
have half of it for dinner, and have the rest for breakfast. Those were the days. I love those, but unfortunately as you get older, you can't eat the carbs so much. So I pretty much, I still don't mind a lot of food, fairly diverse.
Okay. Tell me about a project or an accomplishment that you consider to be the most significant that you've experienced. Something you've done.
Yeah, I think it probably goes back to joining the Air Force at the age of 38, going through recruit training with men and women who are 18, 19, pretty much half my age, and just scraping through and then going on and fulfilling that goal of joining the security police muster.
Tell me, have you got an item that you really should throw away, would you keep it? Just because you can't do it, you can't throw it away?
No, I'm not a person who pretty much hangs on to stuff. I'm able to clear out on a regular occasion. So.
On to the music side of things, what would be your favourite song of all time?
I don't know how anybody can actually answer that, because there's so many great songs, there's so many great artists, there's so many times where a song strikes a chord in your life and you think, you know, like My Way, for example, you think, yeah, that's a song I'm going to play at my funeral. Then a couple of weeks later you hear another song and you think, nah, I'm going to play that song at my funeral because it's more profound, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it ebbs and flows. I've always been a huge fan of Elvis Presley and his music. If I Can Dream, yeah, King. Thank you very much.
He happens to be the first rock and roll artist that I bought. He bought his Heartbreak Hotel, and he's been a favourite of mine too. And also, I had, you might remember if you were at our first show, Lynn Hook came to the show and she actually met Elvis. And she was back in 1966, and that was interesting times. But where to now with Andrew Marr?
Where to now? It's in our world of today, there's so much uncertainty. I'd like to say there was a trajectory that I was following, and it was going to be very straightforward. But in the world of radio, as you know, it can all go to bit pieces from one day to the next, and I've seen it happen to many announcers over the years. Same with the daytime job. I guess in a perfect world, I'd love to pick up a full-time gig going Monday to Friday on Adelaide. Very passionate about the station, but I'd also like to be able to continue. I'd like to continue everything it is I'm doing, but have more hours in the day to be able to do it.
Tell me, how do you cram? And I'm saying cram because it must be arduous sometimes to get everything.
Yeah, unfortunately, you would no doubt all be aware that if you choose one thing in life, it often comes at the expense of another thing. And I guess by choosing the life that I've chosen at this particular time, it's come at the expense of some relationships. Yeah. don't spend as much time with my kids as I should, although my youngest daughter, she lives with me. I've got a son who's 22, another daughter who's 19, they live with their mother. So that covers at that, but I guess I'm a very driven person, and I set goals and then I just go for it and do my best to make it succeed, and sadly it just comes at a price.
What do you think? Radio these days seems to be, and I know it's prevalent in interstate, where there's a national broadcaster taking over a lot of the individual slots. Hopefully that's not going to continue. What do you think will happen in radio?
Well, the wonderful thing about Adelaide is that it is parochial. And they've tried it before at AA's, going back quite a number of years ago. For example, broadcasting the overnight program from interstate, and the listeners kicked up. They won't put up with it. We want what's local, very proud. We have our issues here in South Australia, but we're very passionate as a whole about our state. And so I think for the foreseeable future, when it comes to radio and radio talkback in particular, that won't change. It'll be live, it'll be local, the way it's meant to be.
Tim, do you follow a football team?
I'm not a big football follower. Just to clarify, I mentioned I'm the son of migrants, a migrant family. My parents, they migrated here in 1960. They came from Germany with my two older brothers, Wolfgang and Hans Joachim. You don't reckon I was born here? You glad I was born here? Andrew, thank you very much. So as a result, we followed more of the soccer than the footy. But having said that, I am a Carlton supporter. Yeah, but bottom of the ladder, I mean...
Did you play sport at all?
Yeah, I did, and I was lousy.
When did you play soccer?
No, actually, I tried to play soccer. They put me in as the goalkeeper, and I sort of quit that when the other team was getting 4 or 5 goals, and I wasn't prepared to dive for the ball. Sort of realised that maybe that wasn't for me. Football, I played football in high school, and I got most improved. So that tells you a bit about my football skills.
Would you ever go into politics?
I don't think so.
Okay. Andrew, thank you so much for being my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please thank Andrew Reimer.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I just want to let you know, as well as the roles that I do, I'm also a wedding celebrant. So if you're thinking about renewing your vows, you can give me a call. And I'm also a funeral celebrant. Now, I just want to know, I want to let you know, I want to reassure you, as a funeral celebrant, I'll be the last person to let you down.
Oh, that was something I really do love. The funeral and marriage ceremony, of course, was one of the most important parts of Andrew's life. Ladies and gentlemen, back in just a few minutes' time.